So why are we here today? I'm going to walk you through the agenda and make some introductions, but during the course of the presentation, I'm also going to share with you a little information about who the Dixie Wing is. Some of you may know that we're actually a flying museum. We actually represent, we're the Georgia chapter of the largest World War II aircraft flying museum in the world. So I'm going to do two things. We're going to talk about the agenda, and then I'll introduce you to the team. First of all, we have to thank Sarah Smith for her leadership. She actually took us by the horns, and she made sure that going into this year's expo, that the participants were as prepared as they possibly could be to get the maximum impact from their investment. So everyone, thanks Sarah. I will provide you with an overview of the expo, and that involves two things. Who can I expect to show up at the expo, and what other businesses will attend the expo, and what experiences have they had in the past? I think that'll help you set some expectations, but I think more than anything, it'll help you prepare properly for the event. Daryl's going to talk about marketing tips. Tim will talk about making the most of your expo experience. Because if you're like, I'm sure everybody's the same here. We're rushing from one activity, one action item, one meeting to another, and sometimes we show up and we don't feel like we're prepared to give our best. This meeting is the first step in making sure that happens at the expo. And then finally, Sarah, Daryl, and Tim will conduct some role play at a trade show booth so you can anticipate what you can expect. Maybe prep your team to do the most they can to engage the consumers that come to the expo. A little background, Sarah is our project sponsor. She actually called us together about 2 months ago and said, we need to make sure that the expo is a slam dunk for the membership, so here we are. I'm a volunteer with the Commemorative Air Force Dixie Wing base here in Peachtree City. We have 225 members. Less than 5% of us are either pilots or mechanics. So it begs the question, where do the rest of you come from? We're just people that love one of two things. We love aircraft or history, but the common theme that we share is we want to find a way to preserve our nation's history. So that's why we're members. My day job is I work for AT&T. And I'm an alumni from Mercer University, so hopefully all that works itself out. Daryl is he's the CEO of Focal Point Coaching. He's certified as a performance coach, and he's an alumni of Tuskegee University. Tim is headmaster of Grace Christian Academy. He's been a small business owner. He's also a business consultant and has an MBA from Franklin University.
From New Orleans, Baptist State Hospital.
Thank you very much. And of course, thank you to Minuteman Press for their support of this program. So why are we here today? Well, we want to make sure, when we first got together, we asked the question, well, what should we talk about? The one thing we don't want to take for granted is that everybody had at their fingertips the skills, the tools they needed to make the most of the expo. So we were going to go back to the basics. Let's re-educate the business owner in marketing, sales, and team training to make sure that their head is squared on straight and they're going to be prepared for that event. We want all participants to walk away from the event thinking, this is the one thing I have to do every year. Our objective is to provide exhibitors with practical suggestions. That's the key word here. Practical, actionable suggestions. If you can't repeat it, if it's hard to do, it's not worth doing. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that you have some new skills that you can use not just at the trade show, but other event and marketing programs. A couple of comments here, and I'm going to compare and contrast this. Two different kinds of comments. I'm going to ask you, if you've been to the expo before, which one were you? Our experience was extremely gratifying. We saw many old friends and met new ones. The expo reinforced our opinion that Fayette County is a great place to work. Now here's some other feedback that came from back from the survey. Overall, it was a nice experience, but next year we'll be prepared with more samples. There's that, what you teach your kids, be prepared. So here's the expo overview. It's the 21st consecutive year. It's hosted a new host, Baptist Church, so we all know that. 100 companies already registered for this year, so that's a real testament to the Chamber and to Sarah's efforts. Also, anticipated attendance for 2011 is 2,000, which is what we got last year. The event is promoted by the Chamber pretty aggressively on radio, newspaper, email, and their website. And we're going to share with you some feedback we got from last year's participants and consumers. Here's another comment, outstanding event, top quality. Okay, so if you're prepared, Marketing 101 is understand your market. Okay, next. Understand your market. So what can I expect in the way of a consumer? Well, first of all, almost 80% of the attendees are Fayette County residents. So if you deal in retail, if you deal in home services, this is your market.
Yeah, it's on time.
Okay, gotcha. Well, what is the split between male and female? Well, it's 60% female, almost 70% female, 40% male. And what about the age? This is a nice nice distribution. If you're in medical services, it's good to note that almost 30% of the attendees are over the age of 70. But if you're into the YMCA Summit, they're between the ages of 21 and 59. That is a perfect client for the YMCA. And then also we have people who are just entering retirement. So if you're in financial planning or investments, that's your target market. Our survey sample was 476 people, which is very, very nice. If we had 2,000 people, that's excellent. What's interesting is 45% of these people are first-time attendees. So if you're concerned that it's the same people that come every year, that's not the case. We do get repeat customers, but there are some folks that are kicking the tires. How did I hear about the expo? This is that question Mid-Man Press will appreciate. Does advertising work? Absolutely. And what's nice about what the Chamber does, different people hear about the expo in different ways. We'll email you this presentation, so you'll have this data in your back pocket. Okay, what did participants say? What was their experience? We actually conducted a survey of 77 of the business owners. Remember, we had 120 businesses, so once again, a very good sample. Have you participated in a trade show before? Most of them have, in a trade show of some type. But have you participated in the Community Expo? Once again, most of them have, but there's also a good number that were trying it for the first time. Do you plan to participate next year, which reflects their experience in 2010? Only one person said no. So that's an indication if you've never tried this expo before, it's a winner. What about rate your experience? How about the overall experience? You can see that 58 people gave it a 5. Was the marketing tips video that we tried last year, was it helpful? Most people said yes. I think Sarah took this information and inspired her to create a seminar and actually a series of tips are emailed to you in preparation for the expo to make sure that you have everything you need for the day. How would you rate the load process? And that's all about logistics. As crazy as that day can be, most people thought it was pretty good. What about your contact with the Chamber staff? Very positive. Organization of the expo, that's just overall organization, very, very good. 66 people thought it was a 5. And how about the information you were given by the Chamber to prepare for the expo? Once again, the majority of people thought it was very helpful. And how many times have you participated in the expo in the past? And that's an indicator, renewals, customers come back, that's an indication of how effective the expo is. Most people had participated at least 1 to 5 times. Some people had been doing it longer than I've lived in Wade County. And some testimonials. I won't read this, but I think if I were to take one of these 5 testimonials, I would take the second one. Outstanding event, top quality, excellent traffic, superb volunteers. As a small business owner hitting a very tough market, what more could you ask for? So other opportunities. Once again, this is a shameless, not so shameless plug for the Dixie one. The reason we do this is our way to give back to the community. It's helped to preserve our nation's heritage. And every year, for the last 14 years, we have hosted with the Kiwanis the Great Georgia Air Show. All the proceeds from the air show benefit nonprofits. There's 225 volunteers that give about 6 months of their lives to help put on probably one of the best air shows in the Southeast, definitely in Georgia. It's the only air show that's going to be held in the Atlanta area this fall. We have a new lineup. We're going to have a jet team for the first time in 10 years. If you know air shows, jets are cool. But it's also been rated a top 20 tourist event by the Southeast Tourism Society. So once again, a little nugget in our backyard that we don't do a very good job of sharing with people, which is why we're here today. It's a grassroots event. I mean, it only happens because the community comes together. There are definitely vendor opportunities, and let me show you some stats about who comes to an air show. If you're a marketer, your first question is, do I understand who's showing up? 60% of people that come to air show nationwide earn more than $50,000 a year. 60% will purchase a product online. 40% own their own home. 6% own their own home. 40% will drive 10 to 20 miles to get to an air show. That's Fayette County folks. These people will shop in Fayette County. 40% are females, so this is not a guys-only activity. This is an activity the entire family can enjoy. And 80% have some college, 40% have at least one college degree. Highly educated, very well positioned in terms of disposable income. It's the kind of prospect that you want to grow your business. And at the expo, we're going to be giving away a couple of door prizes, so come by our table. We're going to give away 2 pairs of tickets, but more than that, a raffle for riding an airplane. So if you like flying with airplanes, it's your chance. And we talked about the agenda. We've had introductions, discussed why the seminar is so important to your success, gave you an overview of the expo, demographics of who shows up, but also what your peers experienced last year. At this point, I'm going to turn it over